The lab is cold. It's the kind of cold that feels like it's trying to preserve you, like a specimen in a jar. Around me, there are machines that cost more than a small country's GDP. Super colliders humming, cooling fans screaming, millions of dollars in liquid nitrogen just to keep a single copper coil from melting into a puddle. You'd think a man standing in the center of all that power would be looking at the horizon of history. You'd think I'd be thinking about Rome or the pyramids or the day the first fish crawled onto land. But I'm not. I'm looking at a digital calendar. It's a cheap interface, glowing blue against the dark. I'm staring at a Tuesday, just a regular, unremarkable Tuesday in 1996. I'm not here to save the world. I'm not here to kill a dictator or buy the winning lottery ticket. I have all the power in the universe at my fingertips, and I'm using it for a 5-minute conversation. Because sometimes the hardest thing about the future isn't the technology, it's what we left behind. Let's be honest with each other. If you had it, the machine, the $1 trillion, the key to the cage of linear time, where would you go? Would you go see the end of the world? Would you want to know how it all turns out? Most people say they would. They say they'd go forward to see the stars or back to see the giants. But I think they're lying. I think if you were standing where I am, you'd do exactly what I'm about to do. Think about that person, the one who left before you were ready, the one whose voice is starting to fade in your memory, no matter how hard you try to hold on to it. Who would you want to see one last time? That's the secret they don't tell you about the grandfather paradox. It's not just a logic puzzle about killing your ancestors. It's about the terrifying weight of a world line. Our lives are threads pulled tight from birth to death. If you tug on one end, the whole fabric bunches up. But I've realized something. Physics doesn't care about your heart, but it does care about entropy. In physics, there's this thing called the second law of thermodynamics. It says that everything in the universe is moving from order to chaos. Heat dissipates, stars die, coffee gets cold. Time travel is essentially trying to swim upstream in a waterfall of pure chaos. It's prohibitively expensive, not just in money but in energy. To move a single human body back 30 years, you have to borrow enough power to light up a city for a decade. And the universe? The universe is a very strict debt collector. It takes a toll on you. As the machine spools up, I can feel my teeth aching. That's the radiation. My skin feels like it's being pulled through a needle's eye. That's the spatial displacement. When you break the laws of physics, the laws break you back. Your world line isn't meant to loop. When you force it, you create friction. I can feel my own cells protesting. My vision is blurring into a kaleidoscope of static. My heart is beating in a rhythm that doesn't belong to this century, but I don't care. The pain is a price I'm happy to pay. Because the math is finally right. The coordinates are locked. The entropy is being temporarily reversed in a pocket of space-time exactly 6 feet wide. I'm leaving the $1 million lab. I'm leaving the future. And then the screaming of the machines just stops. The first thing I notice isn't the light, it's the smell. Old wood, Maxwell House coffee, the faint chemical tang of lemon-scented floor wax. I'm not in a lab anymore. I'm standing in a kitchen. It's a mundane, yellow-tiled kitchen in a house that won't exist in 30 years. Outside the window, a lawnmower is buzzing in the distance. It's that lazy, late-afternoon sound of a 1990s summer. On the counter, there's a radio. It's playing a song I haven't heard in decades, something soft and acoustic. The reception is fuzzy, crackling with the kind of analog interference that feels like a warm blanket compared to the digital silence of my world. My breath hitches. My lungs feel heavy, still adjusting to the air of a world that hasn't been burned by the climate wars yet. It's thick. It's real. I look down at my hands, they're shaking. Not from the radiation this time, but from pure, unadulterated terror. I'm here. I'm actually here. I hear a floorboard creak in the hallway. A door opens. This is the part they didn't warn me about in the briefings. They talked about the butterfly effect, the idea that stepping on a bug could delete the future. They warned me not to touch anything, not to change the past. But I didn't come here to change the past. I came here because I realized that goodbye is the most important word in the human language. And I'm the only person in history who gets a second chance to say it. The footsteps are getting closer. I have exactly 4 minutes before the temporal tether snaps me back. 4 minutes before this kitchen, this light, and this person vanish into the void of what was. But there's a problem the scientists back at the lab didn't account for. I know who is about to walk through that door. I know exactly what she's going to say. But as the shadow falls across the linoleum, I realize something terrifying. I'm not the only one in this room who shouldn't be here. And if I say the wrong thing, I won't just be losing my past. I'll be erasing the only reason I ever wanted a future. Why is this my only trip? Because the universe only lets you break the rules once. And I'm starting to realize that the person I came to see is the person who told me never to come back. The door swings open with a slow, rhythmic groan. It's her, my mother. She looks younger than I remember, but it's the eyes that hit me first. They aren't the tired, clouded eyes from the hospital bed. They're bright, sharp. They reflect the golden hour sun hitting the kitchen table. She's holding a grocery bag, the paper crinkling in the silence. She stops. She doesn't scream. She doesn't drop the bag. She just looks at me, this stranger in her kitchen, wearing clothes that don't exist yet, carrying the smell of ozone and burnt lightning. "Elias?" she whispers. My heart stops. This is the open loop I didn't expect. How does she know my name? In 1996, I was 7 years old. I'm currently 35. To her, I should be a ghost, a hallucination, or a home intruder. "You shouldn't be here," she says. She puts the groceries down on the tile. The sound of a jar of pickles hitting the counter echoes like a gavel. She isn't surprised to see a time traveler. She's disappointed. In physics, we have this concept called the no-hiding theorem. It suggests that information can never be truly destroyed. Even if you throw a book into a black hole, the information that made up those words is still there, scrambled in the radiation. I thought I was the only one with the information. I thought I was the only one who knew that in 3 years, she'd get sick, that in 5 years, she'd be gone. I thought I was the only one who knew that the little boy playing with Legos in the next room, the younger me, was about to lose the only person who understood him. "How do you know it's me?" I ask. My voice sounds like it's being played through a broken speaker. That's the temporal distortion. My vocal cords are vibrating in a frequency the 1990s aren't calibrated for. She walks toward me. She reaches out a hand, then pulls it back. "The smell," she says softly. "You smell like the basement after a storm, and you have your father's habit of clenching your jaw when you're scared." She looks toward the hallway, toward the sound of 16-bit video game music drifting from the living room. "He's in there, you know. You're happy. You're safe." "I know," I say. I needed to tell you something. I needed to say what I didn't get to say when I was 15. Think of your life as a single, continuous line in a 4-dimensional block of glass. That's world line theory. Everything that has happened is happening and will happen is already carved into that glass. By coming back, I'm trying to scratch the glass. I'm trying to carve a new notch. But the universe is incredibly resilient. It's self-healing. If I tell her she's sick, her body might just find another way to fail. If I tell her to move, the accident might find her on a different street. But I'm not here to save her life. I'm here to save my soul. "Mom, listen to me," I start. "In the future, I did it. I became the scientist you said I'd be. I built the things we talked about. But I spent so much time looking at the stars that I forgot how to live on Earth. I forgot how to be okay without you." She smiles, but it's the saddest thing I've ever seen. She takes a step closer, defying the laws of causality. "Elias," she says, her voice steady, "why do you think I gave you that telescope when you were 6? Why do you think I told you that time was just a map?" I freeze. The air in the kitchen starts to shimmer. The re-hook hits me like a physical blow. She isn't just a victim of history. She's the one who pointed me toward the machine. "You knew," I whisper. "You knew I'd come back." "I knew someone would have to," she says. "But I hoped it wouldn't be today. Because today is the day the loop closes." Outside, the bird stops singing. The radio static gets louder, drowning out the acoustic guitar. The walls of the kitchen start to look thin, like a movie set being dismantled. This is the physical toll the lab warned me about. When two versions of the same information occupy the same space-time coordinates for too long, the universe begins to archive the excess. I can feel my fingernails beginning to go translucent. I'm being deleted to protect the timeline. You have to go, she says, her eyes wide with a sudden sharp fear. If you stay another minute, the boy in the other room, he'll never become you. You'll create a vacuum. You'll erase the very man who invented the way home. I don't care about the machine, I yell. I reach for her hand, and for a second, I feel her skin. It's warm. It's real. It's the only real thing in a trillion-dollar lie. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there at the end. I'm sorry I spent my whole life trying to get back to a Tuesday in 1996 instead of moving forward. She grips my hand back. Her grip is incredibly strong. Elias, look at me. I look. You didn't come back to say goodbye to me, she says. The floor beneath us begins to dissolve into white light. The smell of coffee is being replaced by the metallic tang of the lab. My 4 minutes are up. The tether is pulling. Then why am I here? I choke out. She leans in, whispering into my ear just as the kitchen explodes into a million shards of golden glass. You came back, she whispers, to say goodbye to the boy in the other room. The light blinds me. The cold rushes back. I'm on the floor of the lab. The liquid nitrogen is hissing. The technicians are running toward me, shouting about thermal spikes and successful displacement. I'm back in the future. I'm in the cold, expensive dark, but I'm holding something in my hand. Something that shouldn't be here. Something that violates every law of physics we have. I look down and my heart stops. In my hand, I'm gripping a small plastic figurine. It's a blue spaceman, its helmet scratched, its paint chipped from years of play. It's the toy I was holding in the other room. The toy my 7-year-old self was playing with while my mother watched from the kitchen. This is a physical impossibility. This is a bootstrap paradox. If I took the toy from the past, then I didn't have it to play with. If I didn't have it to play with, I wouldn't remember it. If I don't remember it, I wouldn't have looked for it. The technicians are hovering over me, their voices muffled by my own heartbeat. They want to know about the event horizon. They want to know if the copper coil's held. They see the toy, and they see a glitch. I see a crime against the universe. But then I remember her last words. You came back to say goodbye to the boy in the other room. I stand up, my bones creaking like old stairs. I realize now what I've done. We talk about time travel like it's a door we walk through. It's not. It's a bridge we build out of our own lives. To go back, you have to burn the now to light the way to the then. I didn't just spend $1 trillion. I spent my future. The lab around me starts to change. The technicians are flickering. The machines are becoming translucent. Why? Because the no hiding theorem I mentioned earlier works both ways. By taking that toy, by interacting with my younger self's world so directly, I've changed the initial conditions of my own life. If the boy in 1996 loses his favorite toy, he looks for it. He doesn't find it. He gets upset. He cries. His mother holds him. They talk about loss earlier than they were supposed to. That conversation changes his trajectory. Maybe that boy doesn't grow up to be obsessed with time. Maybe he grows up to be a gardener, or a teacher, or someone who actually knows how to say goodbye when the time comes. And if he never becomes the man who builds this machine, then the man standing in this lab starts to disappear. I can feel the edges of my vision fraying. It's not the radiation this time. It's non-existence. I have two choices. I can drop the toy. I can try to force the machine to send me back one more time to put it back, to fix the timeline, to ensure that I continue to exist in this cold, lonely, brilliant future. I can stay the god of the lab. Or I can hold on to it. I can let the paradox take me. I can let my world line unravel like a sweater caught on a nail. You see, we always think the goal of life is to endure, to leave a legacy, to build something that lasts forever. But physics tells us that nothing lasts forever. Even black holes evaporate. Even the universe has an expiration date. The only thing that matters is the quality of the now. I look at the blue spaceman. I remember the weight of it in my 7-year-old hand. I remember the feeling of pure, uncomplicated wonder. I realized that my mother didn't want me to save her. She wanted me to save me. She wanted to break the cycle of a man who lived his entire life looking over his shoulder at a Tuesday in 1996. We call it decoherence. It's when a quantum system loses its mushy state of being everything at once and settles into being one thing. As I stand there, the lab is almost gone. I'm standing in a void of white light. I'm no longer the trillion-dollar traveler. I'm just a man holding a toy. I'm letting the information scramble. I'm letting the entropy win. And for the first time in 30 years, the ache in my chest, the one that had nothing to do with physics, finally starts to fade. I'm saying goodbye, not to her. She's been gone. I'm saying goodbye to the version of me that couldn't live without her. I'm letting the gardener be born. I'm letting the teacher exist. I'm sacrificing the God to let the human live. The light is absolute now. If you're watching this, if you can hear my voice, I want you to do something. Don't wait for the machine. Don't wait for the $1 trillion. Don't spend your life building a bridge to a kitchen that doesn't exist anymore. The most powerful technology in the universe isn't in a lab. It's the ability to stand in the present, look at the people you love, and realize that one day they will be gone. And that's okay, because the fact that they are here now is a miracle that breaks every law of probability. Don't go back to say goodbye. Say it now. Or better yet, say hello while you still have the breath to do it. The white light takes me. And somewhere in a kitchen in 1996, a little boy stops crying because he finds a different toy. He smiles. He moves on. And the world keeps turning exactly the way it was meant to.